So he is talking about bitter feelings. He feel bitter after leaving a game. Okay, before we talk about this, right, I want you guys to be very honest. What games have you guys, you leave and you have the bitter feeling? You left the game because you hate the game. You hate the game so much, but you got bitter feeling. You regret. How many of you guys regret? Okay? Quitting is so easy. What game is that, guys? Can you guys let me know? Is there any game you quit, you regret? Bitter feeling, leave a taste in your mouth. And you every day you sleep, you cannot sleep because you quit that game. You shouldn't have. You regretted the decision. PGR? Nino Kuni? No way, Nino Kuni, no way. No way. Alright, let's read about this guy's bitter feelings. He has very bitter feelings, alright? Genshin, Danmachi. I played Tower of Fantasy for 400 hours. Damn! 400 hours! That's not that long though. Is that long, 400 hours? About 1 month, I would say. So let's say you play... Okay, if you play 4 hours a day, that's about 3 months. If you play 4 hours a day, that's about 3 months, right? Assuming you play 4 hours a day. So okay, it can be quite long. 3 to 4 months, I guess. But it depends, right? Okay. I love the idea of having anime MMO with lots of weapons, different weapons, and almost unlimited exploration. But things went south when the characters I loved were constantly eclipsed by the newest ones in their element. Power creep. The thing that people hate the most. Power creep. Alright guys, this is very, very important. I felt that none of my investments... Ooh, investments! Ooh, he's looking at Tower of Fantasy like NFT. Investments. Big quotes because it's a gacha game. None of his investments held for more than a few weeks. The developers never listened to any of the feedback, and the amount of bugs increased over time. Okay, now, I'm just so bitter about the game when I see a collaboration like the one they are having with Evangelion. I feel they don't deserve to have these kinds of collaborations. Does anyone else feel the same about any of your previous games? Tower of Fantasy. Right now, Tower of Fantasy, if you guys haven't been following, is having Evangelion collab. Evangelion, Asuka can be obtained, right? But this guy thinks that Tower of Fantasy do not deserve it. Tower of Fantasy do not deserve this collab. Who deserve this collab? Gen? Not Tower of Fantasy. Definitely not Tower of Fantasy. Do you guys agree that Tower of Fantasy don't deserve any of this collab? I think this is the only collab that they've done, right? They don't deserve Evangelion. Should you join Tower of Fantasy for Evangelion? Asuka. Later on they will have the other girl. But okay, let's see then. Why does he think he doesn't deserve, right? That's the FOMO and sunken cost fallacy leaving your body. It's a cleansing. I basically stopped playing the game when I realized that the only thing keeping me around is either or both of those things instead of the actual gameplay or story keeping me around. So this guy playing Tower of Fantasy and nothing is keeping him except for the FOMO. Everything else, story sucks. Everything sucks. FOMO. Evangelion is the most overrated. True. Collab won't carry over to reboot. Yeah, they're probably not going to play the reboot. They're probably just playing that for the Tower of Fantasy. This is my case with Blue Archive. I tried to convince myself that I love the setting and characters, but I ended up realizing it was some sort of fake emotional attachment I formed with my JP server account in Blue Archive and the whole sunken cost fallacy. I can purify myself like you said, wise advice. So my feelings for Blue Archive, fake emotional. Fake. If you have any feelings towards Blue Archive, towards the lollies, it's all fake. Okay? So you gotta let it go. Let it go, cleanse it. Eventually, it's gonna go away. And you're gonna feel better. Alright, you're gonna feel better. Really wise advice. Okay? What else? I'm experiencing this with another Eden. I know this game isn't like around here very much, but with the new Stellar Awakening system, I'm not sure how I feel. It's not the system itself that's the problem, but with how they implemented it. I've been playing Global regularly since 2019. At the beginning of 2024 was when Global merged with JP, so now we're all on the same real release schedule. No more cooking at the JP for clairvoyance or future foresight about character banner or pooling. It's definitely a change compared to the 4 years prior. It has its pros and cons. So basically, before this, they can watch what's happening in JP, and then they can basically have a look at, okay, what's next to in Global, right? They can plan ahead. But now it has changed. For the first time since 2019, lately I'm finding myself less engaged with it. What doesn't help is that the content gaps are generally too wide, like the real, actual playable content. I don't count just a banner release as new content, if you get my drift. So you pull new characters and there's basically nothing to even use them on, if you are a veteran player and or caught up with the majority of the content. I still like the game. There's both Global and JP livestream coming up in a few days. Hopefully there's some good news or announcements. JP's anniversary is April 12th, so some stuff will be happening, that's for sure. It was announced in a developer letter that they plan to have AE stick around for its 10th anniversary and beyond. So I guess we'll see what's up as time progresses. AE is another Eden, by the way. I just wish they listened to all the players' feedback more, especially with the new SA system. Alright, interesting. Real human puts fake emotional too. Really? God, if the story was at least at the level of fun as the others in the same genre, I would stick around, but it's so uninteresting all over the place. Personally, I don't think I felt anything about games like... I'm trying to think, right? Is there a game that I fully regret? Is there a game that I really regret leaving? I don't think there is, because I can always go back to them. I never feel the regret, because I never leave a game for good, right? Like, if the game is good, and the game has some big update, I can always go back to it, right? For example, I went back to Snowbreak, I went back to Outer Plane for a short period, right? And I feel like that's how I look at games, bro, right? There's no real, like... It's not like you leave it, you have to leave it permanently. Like, why can't you just go back and play it if you think... Maybe for some people there's some issues, some of them are their potato phone, for example, right? Space is an issue. But for me, yeah, I can always like uninstall some games and just like consider playing it back. You have to reinstall. Yeah, but you don't have to uninstall it, right? I never really uninstall most of the games on my PC, I just leave them there. But yeah, I can see space is an issue for some people, for sure, if you play a lot of different games. So that can be a problem. Especially on phone, I think it's more of a phone problem than a PC problem. Phones definitely, storage is an issue, right? A friend of mine got burned out by the same game before even reaching the stage of power creep. Feel like they become bitter over their experience when they made this maybe 14,000 word long review of it. Okay, the game is just bad when it even shines well. Tower of Fantasy Global. Wait, this guy wrote Tower of Fantasy 14,000 words review. 14,000. Oh my god. Why he write this essay on Tower of Fantasy? Oh my god, expert formatting as well. I don't think I'll be able to read this. This will take 3 days to read. Okay, that's a lot of things. Wow. Okay, he actually take all the time to write this. TLDR verdict. 700 upwards for Tower of Fantasy essay. Okay. That game is just so bad even when it shines well. Shame. And they have the balls to make a new server and label it as anti-power creep when it's clearly just a cash grab, when you can't even transfer cosmetics. Anyway, for my own experience, I have bitter feelings over MMO, trying way too hard to become a gacha called Ragnarok Online Origins. When I left, I felt empty because it was a game that detected my childhood and gave me and my friends very wonderful memories. Destroyed because it was trying to ride the gacha wave. Like my friends said, MMOs and gacha don't mix. Intense read, but everything is so very true. Thanks for sharing. Huh. Why Tower of Fantasy failed? Wow. People should start quitting Genshin. The thing about quitting a game as well, right? I feel like you only feel this if you quit a game, but you don't have any games to play. Like, do you guys agree? I feel like this is a feeling that you only get these kind of bitter feelings. You will only get it if you quit a game, but there's no games that you're playing right now. Because if he quit Tower of Fantasy and he's playing another game, I don't think you will feel this. Why would you feel this? Because if you are playing another game that you enjoy equally or even more, why would you feel, oh man, I shouldn't have left the previous game? I don't think you would feel that because you're already enjoying another new game, right? And you're enjoying the new game, the new story, and everything is like, there's a lot of fresh things. There are many other games, yeah. And I'm guessing, yeah, maybe if you left a game that you have been playing for a long time and then there's no other games to fill that gap, I can see, oh, it's like empty, right? You feel empty. There's nothing there. So you can feel, you can have some sort of like remorse or regret or like FOMO, whatever that's called, right? Favorite game going EOS feels pretty bad. I don't think that's... It does happen from time to time, but usually like most games, you know, you can sort of see it coming from miles away. You're waiting for One Punch Man release. Wow. One Punch Man release. He should just play Genshin in the meantime. Maybe he did play Genshin already, then he moved to Tower of Fantasy. Like, I don't think he wants to go back to Genshin, but yeah, you can always go back, right? You can always go back. You don't have to like, oh, I'm going to leave this game permanently for the rest of my life. I will never play it ever again. Like, it's not... Just because you leave a game doesn't mean it becomes your enemy, right? Like, that's one thing that people need to always, you know, take into consideration. Like, it's not like you once you leave, you can't go back.